and a 64 present. A Playguide and video review. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Hi there once again, welcome to another Lemon C64 Play Guide and View. In this episode we'll be taking a look at California games, published by Epic's computer software in 1987. Epic's made it big with Summer Games in 1984, and then they followed that with Winter Games, and then here we go, this is California Games, probably the best of the lot. Epic's computer software was based in San Francisco, so what better topic than a California-based multi-event sports simulator? As you can see, the atmosphere really kicks off in this game from the go, and anybody who's never visited California, me included, felt welcome with those great graphics and that great music. From the main menu, we have a number of options there. You can select all the events, we can play any of the events in our own order, and we can even compete in just the one event. And looking at those high scores there, they're blank at the moment. We can even practice one event, and that is certainly recommended. But for now, I will select compete in all events. Let's enter our name. After that, we can choose our team. You may notice Ocean Pacific there is a real-life surfing apparel store out there in California, who basically manufacture and promote surfing. But the rest are basically made-up names, so there you go. Hacky Sack is a made-up name. Let's choose that one. And our first event is the Halfpipe. Because this is the tape version, there will be a significant amount of loading involved, and so we will begin by skipping most of that loading, because loading from tapes really does take time. So this is my first go in, I don't know, maybe 15 years of this game, and I can't remember what I'm supposed to be doing. Luckily on this first level it appears quite obvious what we must do, so let's press fire and let's continue. But if we try to turn there, unfortunately it does not allow it. Luckily we have 3 attempts to complete each event, and each event is unfortunately not completable because some of those have a time limit, and so this event must be, well, very difficult enough there, and I simply cannot remember how I'm supposed to play it. So at this point I decided to reload the game because I don't really remember how to quit back to the main menu from the game itself, but I reloaded the game and entered practice mode. So what we have to do there is, if we hold down fire at a certain point on that half pipe, then we will turn and we'll gain lots of points. The opportunity window for that fire button is actually very small, and if we release fire too early or hang on there too late, then that maneuver will not be completed. Each of the 6 levels require an extensive learning period before you even attempt those. As this is the first level in the game, it is not only difficult, it is merciless. This means the half-pipe section of California Games is probably the most annoying and the most infuriating of them all. It is not friendly to the novice user, and even the advanced user will have to be on their toes playing these levels. In this game, the controls appear at first glance very laggy, and it's actually the fact that you need to set up maneuvers way in advance, or if you are right on the rim there, you have to do those to perfection, otherwise those maneuvers will fail. You can see me actually making headway there. What I'm actually doing is holding down fire from the off, and then if you hold left or right, no later than halfway over the other side of that half pipe, then it will perform a round turn and you'll turn on the spot. If you hold down fire and do not pull left and right, or leave that after halfway, then that will not be performed. And if you press fire and perform those maneuvers at any other point, then you'll simply fall off the skateboard, and that's round over. So in this practice mode, you can see round over appears very quickly indeed. Pulling back on the controller when we are descending will make us descend even more quickly, and pushing forward when we are about to ascend will make us ascend a little more quickly, so we can make ourselves rise there and hopefully get onto the rim. Unfortunately, if again we hold down that fire and release it too early, that's not a perfect maneuver and we'll get nothing. So you can see with perfection you can gain a little score there, but ordinarily it's very difficult. A little background information about this game. The guy who designed this level was known as Chuck Somerville, and he moved on to Destroyer and Chip's Challenge on the Amiga. The footbag was designed by Ken Nicholson, who actually went on to create DirectX for Microsoft, and the BMX was created by Kevin Norman. The surf section was created by John Loop, and finally the flying disc was Kevin Furry. The graphics in this game were headed up by ladies, including Jenny Martin, Susie Green, and Cheryl Knowles, who moved on to Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego, and there was also Paul Vernon. The music was created by Gil Freeman and Chris Grigg, who also worked on Maniac Mansion in 1987 for Lucasfilm Games out there in California. So the California links continue as I do not continue on this level. I think I've got the hang of this game now, after all those practices. And directly after those practices, this is my re-attempt at competing in the championship. Yes, this is not a fluke, this is me actually trying again and seeing if I can put all that practice to good use. So pulling back and pushing forward there to try and get some speed from this thing, holding down the fire and pulling right or left accordingly, no sooner than halfway across the screen, no later than that point, and I'm appearing to rack up some score here. In fact, I'm appearing to make this look easy. So it is possible to get far in this level, and it is certainly not as easy as 720 degrees and other skaters on the C64. But whoa, took a hit there. Too soon for the kick turn. At least it gives us advice. Unfortunately, advice after the horse is bolted isn't very helpful, and so getting points there directly from the launch is certainly helpful, but failing yet again seems to be the order of the day. Very nice Hollywood sign in the background, and I like these graphics, including when we score some points we gain some funky special effects there. So the graphics are great, the music's great, and so are the sound effects. It's a pity the controls let this game down, and I'm appearing to score, well, up to 2,000 there, but you can see the time is ticking down. Fortunately, we cannot continue forever, so let's just score those last few hundreds. Let's hope we don't wipe out 5, 4 seconds, 3 remaining, and I don't think I'm going fast enough. Let's try. Well, that's it. Game over. Just 2,383 points in that round. Well, no idea whether that's a lot or not, but let's move on. After each round we will gain the results, and if we are in competitive mode against someone else or another team, and we can have 8 players in this game, and at the end we can see the results of our team. And that means we are the leaders. Well, we would be, because we are the only ones in the league. So let's move on to the footbag. When I first played this game, I had no idea what a footbag was, but that soon was straightened out. A footbag is basically a bag that you kick around with your foot, and you cannot touch that thing with your hand. We can pull off tricks and amazing maneuvers by kicking that around from foot to foot, using our head, and you can see the demo there will actually give us a demo of what we can do, what we can accomplish in this game. But if you press fire just as that bird is going across and get that with the ball, it gives us 1,000 points from the go. So that's an early tip to remember. Moving the controller left and right will move our player, and if we press fire when that footbag is in our vicinity, then the player will do a number of things. If it is above our head, then we will jump. If it is below our shoulders, then we will attempt to knee the ball, and if it is around our feet or either side, then we will attempt to kick that or side sweep that. And if we get those in combinations, that will award us some points. For example, if we move to the side there and use the side kick and we perform that 3 times, that will give us the double arch. And so you can see at the bottom when we score a major hit, and all these maneuvers will be added to the list, and we will see that list at the end of the round. You can see there we still have 30 seconds remaining, so that gives us plenty of time to try and get those maneuvers. If that footbag is just in the wrong position when we press fire, then we've lost it, and as soon as it touches the ground we have to kick that back up all over again. So you can see I'm failing to remember what I'm supposed to be doing here, so after this we will go on to practice this and we will see if we can't get any further. And yes, try and get that double again. Yes, that's another double arch, and well, that's one way to gain score. Let's get that bird. And that's the round over. 2 double arches and 1 5 in a row, and a variety bonus as well. Well, that's pathetic, and so we can't really expect much score from this. Let's have a look at the final total. 11,000 points. Well, at least that's better than we scored on the Halfpipe, and that's a new record as well. So the disc version will certainly memorize our records, and the disc version certainly has faster loading than the tape version and is recommended. So let's actually look at a practice run that I did after I scored my championship failing run. And so you can see that we gain points by hitting the foul. By pulling back we can actually turn around on the spot, and you can see if we knee that and then head that, that will give us a half axle. You can see the boat in the background is actually moving, and we can see Alcatraz out there in San Francisco Bay. So again, San Francisco Bay was probably just around the corner from Epic's. Let's see if we can't gain another maneuver. Head that ball around there, that hacky sack, and if we pull back twice, that will maneuver us back and forth, and if we hit that on the return, that will give us a full axle. So at the end you can see there I'm skipping forward, axle forward there. If we manage to pull 1.5 turns after hitting that, and well, missed the bird, let's speed that up, we get 5 in a row there. So yes, by pulling back we can turn on the spot, and that will give us the axles and the axle follies, and they're worth more score. Let's have another round. 5 in a row there is easy to get, and if we turn on the spot 3 times, that will give us a dizzy dean. Unfortunately, a dizzy dean isn't easy to accomplish, and hitting that on the reverse double arch there, known as the horseshoe, that isn't easy to get either. But you can see you gain things for standing in one direction or doing that reversed, and so I like to bounce that thing high and try the turning on the spot maneuver, and that hopefully will gain some easy score. There are actually 11 opportunities to score different maneuvers on this level, and if you gain different ones then you'll also gain the variety bonus, so that's 12. So moving on there, let's fast forward, let's see how many of those 12 we managed to get, and we'll also remember the multiples as well. All these 5 in a row will count, so let's total those up. 5 in a row really build those scores up there, and we've got the variety bonus as well. When the hacky sack falls to the floor, that can be sometimes disappointing, and when we get a rally going, that can be highly invigorating. So this game is a double-edged sword, and there's the jester. If we press fire here, just on the side, and then here, we can then jump and perform a jester. Not an easy maneuver to make, and you really have to know those timings inside out, but I used to know those, and I used to be able to remember most of these maneuvers. So I do remember pulling back 6 times will give us the dizzy dean, but I've no idea about the reverse doda or the doda, And the headbanger there, I think you have to bounce that on the player's heads maybe 12 times to gain that. Not quite sure. Let's move on to the next level, and the next game itself is surfing. So you can see Casio, their product placement, used aptly in these games. If you press fire, that will ride us on the surfboard. And if we leap off the edge of there, we can actually ride the wave. If we leave the top of the wave and turn that surfboard and return that at precisely the same angle, then we will regain ourselves on the water. If we fall off the bottom there, we will die, and if we fail to correct that board and we fail to land at precisely the right angle, then we will fall off it. So stunts will be performed by doing this, and points will be rewarded for doing that. There is also a shark in this game. If you ride the surf, you can get under the tunnel there, and that earns you extra points and extra merit by the judges, but that might also get you eaten by the shark. And so you can see me trying there to ride that crest, and if you exit that top of the level, then it's basically you have to get that thing absolutely right, otherwise you are in the water. And very nice seagull effect there, very nice sound effects, and very nice graphics there, judges awarding the points. Unfortunately, that seems a rather bland level, and my pathetic skills have basically rewarded us 3 points there. 3 points. That's not going to increase our score very much as we move on to the next level, which in this case is skating. The skating section is actually my second favourite in the game, but unfortunately it has one drawback. Every single thing on the level will kill you. Yes, even blades of grass, even cracks in the pavement will not only slow us down, we can trip over those and lose a life. We have 3 lives as usual, and by pushing diagonal top right and bottom right, we can make that skater skate forward. By pressing fire, we can make her jump. And so those mechanics will have to be used to negotiate this level and avoid everything. The jumping is very precise, the animation is very precise and well done, but unfortunately jumping over cracks doesn't really fill me with relish, and you can only just make those things sometimes. The progress is definitely hampered if you can't practice this beforehand, and if you can practice this, then it will give you these opportunities. And look at that, pressing fire wildly there just to get over those things. And getting towards the end of this level now. I have completed this level before, but unfortunately not on this play. So again, it's my second favourite level, but unfortunately a packet of cigarettes there has actually killed us, and that thing really should carry a health warning. But let's move on. And so the loading in this game definitely spoils the tape version. If you can find the disc version, then that's great, and unfortunately there was no cartridge version available. But on the Commodore 64, it's very easy to forget that in its heyday, the player had to wait around for the loading. And this really does spoil the game. And, well, here we go. These are the scores. 920. Great level, terrible score. Let's move on. That was the skating. Let's move on to the BMX. Now, the BMX is probably my favourite, and you really have to practice this to get anywhere, but it's very difficult in fact, and if you push up on the controller, that will start the game. Pressing fire does apparently nothing, but if you do push up on the controller, you might just push up and die just like that. So, well, starting isn't particularly easy. So everything, yet again, must be avoided. Luckily that oil can be ridden through, and that will only slow us down. And so speed can be maintained on this level by pulling left and right and up and down. We can maneuver that thing up and down the track. So unfortunately, well, we can jump, but we have to get those maneuvers perfect, or we have to have practiced this level to know where those obstacles are, otherwise we'll be off. So pixel perfect maneuvers there, but you can see the very fluid scrolling. The controls are actually very good and very tight, and squeezing by those things is actually possible. It's just that my playing is a bit crap. So I got 340 for that. Let's skip on to a practice session, which I did after the challenge was completed. I actually practiced this, and you can get far in the game. But look at that, if you hold down fire and pull back, you can do the most amazing stunts, and you have to land on your wheels to perform those, otherwise you'll crash out. So stunts can be performed. Look at that riding there. High speed along this track is possible. We only have a certain length of time, and we only have 3 tries to make it within, and a crash will detriment that time. But there is definitely a finish line and a goal to be reached, and I have reached the finish line in my heyday, not unfortunately on this play. But look at that, you have to get those jumps there, and if you don't know how to do those, pull back and press fire. Look at that, and you will jump. So sometimes just a little practice makes perfect and makes all the difference, especially with scenes like this. Too bad, hotshot, let's try that again. And so I like this level for a number of reasons. I particularly like the 3D, it's certainly better than Paperboy 3D, and most of the titles with the words BMX in there on the Commodore 64. So the smoothness and the playability is there, the speed is there, so is the music and the sound effects. If the player goes off, then that's unfortunate, but I've certainly seen worse games than this on modern consoles and handheld platforms. So BMXing in this case, look at that. Oh, nearly just not quite there. BMXing in this case can be quite fun, and once those skills are mastered, then this level is really fun, and doing that in the fastest time there, doing lots of stunts, is great. But you can see it's a memory test, and if you have the memory, then that's great, and if you can't, then you'll be off. But I like this level because it has a very solid build quality to it. Again, the graphics are very smooth in the background, and I like the 3D. But unfortunately, those difficult maneuvers are yet again very much difficult to pull off unless you have practiced this game, and jumping in wildly isn't really great. So I'd recommend practicing every one of these levels before you continue, especially the last one. The last one out of the 6 is called the Flying Disc. When we press fire, that will send the bar across the screen. When that is in the green, it's time to pull right, and when it is in the green on the angle again, it is time to pull left, and that will throw the disc into the air. You can see on the top there is a map, and I'm actually moving the lady in this case and trying to angle that, and when the disc is in our vicinity, we should press fire to catch it. The man is very skilled at throwing the disc. You can see it takes virtually no skill whatsoever to throw that perfectly. No, the problem comes with aligning the woman under the disc and pressing fire just as the disc appears on the woman's screen. If we don't, then the woman will jump just too late and we will miss it. So there you go, missed it again. And it isn't possible to catch that from a stand. You cannot jump up. You basically have to jump and land on the ground like that. And if the disc ends up in your hands after that maneuver, that's great. Otherwise, you'll hit the dirt with nothing. Taking a look at the scores, Commodore Format gave the budget re-release 55%. Commodore User gave it 90. The Games Machine gave it 92. Zap gave it 97. Your Commodore and CMVG both gave this 100%. So I think this is, well, 9 out of 10, apart from the Halfpipe, which is very difficult. The rest just need a little practice. So you can see my weedy scores there. I think this game deserves maybe 80%. It is a little annoying and a little boring on the flying disc section, and the surfing gives us virtually no points whatsoever. We can view our high scores there, but they will be wiped when we turn off the machine, and the long loading times really kill this, as well as the difficulty of all the levels. Apart from that, I think it's a well crafted game and certainly stands up today, and even better than the Amiga version, which was not that great. Thank you once again for viewing a play guide and review by lemon64.com.